When you buy a home, one of the documents you're going to sign is a thing called a purchaser's estimated cost sheet. Now, the reason why you sign this form is because you want to have some idea when you write that purchase agreement of what your monthly payment's going to be and how much you're going to need to bring to closing. So we're going to go over this form in today's video, and we're going to get started right now. Hi, my name is David Matney with Nebraska Realty. I'm a local realtor here in Omaha, Nebraska. Now, the goal of my channel is to help you buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the Omaha area, or if you're relocating to Omaha, to give you some idea of what our area is like. Now, let's jump into today's topic. Okay, before we get started, we need to make a couple of assumptions. Okay, number one, the final agreed upon sales price is going to be $350,000. The buyer is using conventional financing at a 5% interest rate for a 30-year loan, and they're coming in with a 10% down payment. Yearly taxes, and I took this from an actual property that I just wrote a contract on, are going to be $5,880 per year. And that's something you have to understand if you're buying a home in Nebraska or in the Omaha area. Our property taxes are extremely high. And then the homeowner's insurance policy is going to be $1,800 a year. And that's kind of just a guess, because it's going to depend on your credit score and it's going to depend on your coverage. But just for sake of an example, today's example, we're just using $1,800 for homeowner's insurance. Okay, we're going to go through the purchaser's estimated cost sheet. And at the top, you'll see the address and the buyer's name and then the estimated closing date. In the very top in yellow, you'll see a sale price of $350,000. In block A, you'll have your estimated lender charges, and your lender may or may not charge a loan origination fee. That's going to depend on the lender. Then you'll see a processing fee that can range anywhere from $500 to $900. In this example, we just put $600, and then an underwriting fee. Again, these fees are going to vary from lender to lender. In this case, we put $525. And the verification fee, we had 2 buyers, so we're going to round that to $37. We're also going to have a flood certification of $20. So all total, your total estimated lender charges are going to be $1,182. In block B is going to be your additional settlement costs. Now, the first line right there is appraisal fee. That's going to vary depending on the size of the house and what type of appraisal, but it's going to be anywhere from $450 to $850. In this case, we put $650. And the reason why an appraisal needs to be done, if you're getting a loan from the bank, before they give you that money for that property, they want to make sure that the property is worth the amount you're paying for it. So they want to protect themselves by ordering an appraisal. And then you have a credit report of $39 per person. Again, these are all approximate fees. In this case, we have 2 people, so we're going to have $78. And then a pest inspection. When a lender is going to give you a loan on a property, they want to make sure that the property is inspected for termites. Believe it or not, termites cause more damage per year than all the natural disasters combined. So the lender wants to make sure that that property is free and clear of all termites. If it needs to be treated, that it's handled accordingly. But in this case, we're just going to put a $95 termite inspection. Now, if you're getting a VA loan, one of the advantages of a VA loan is the seller has to pay for the termite inspection on a VA loan. But in this case, we're just doing conventional financing, so the buyer is going to pay for it, and that'll be $95. Now, whether or not you choose to do a survey, that's up to you, or whether it's required by the lender. In this example, we're just going to say that there's no plot plan or no survey being done, so that's 0. And then property inspection radon test. We put down $650, and that could be for the home inspection. Could you run you $500, and then the radon test is going to run you $150 or so. It's going to vary, but it can be anywhere from $450 to $800. And then do you see where it says POC? That means paid outside of closing. So when you buy that property and write a contract on it, right away, you're going to have a window of time to get that home inspection done. When that inspection is complete, usually immediately right after the home inspection is done, the inspector is going to ask you for a credit card, and then you pay the inspector right on the spot. So be prepared for that. Okay, and then there's a broker admin commission of $495. So your total additional settlement costs from Block B are $1,968. Okay, with title charges, charges, and that's going to be block C. You're going to have title insurance, okay, because you want to make sure that there's no liens or encumbrances or anything like that. So you want to make sure that the title is clear. The title insurance typically in our market is split between the buyer and seller. It's based off of the price of the home. So in this case, we figured about $640. And then you have a title company closing fee that'll run you about $275. And then you also have a lender closing fee, and that'll run you somewhere around $300. Okay, and then you have a doc prep fee / courier fee, and we just put $50 in there. And then additional title settlement or endorsements, put $75. So your total title charges will be about $1,340. Now, your initial deposit for your escrow account, you're going to take taxes out each month, but you got to have, the minute you move into that property, you already have to have an escrow reserve built up front. That way they can, depending on when those taxes are due and depending on what time of year it closes. So you're going to want to pay taxes up front to establish those escrow reserves. In this case, now keep in mind, property taxes in Nebraska are pretty high. So in this case, 9 months of taxes will be $4,410. And I used an exact example from a property that was right in that price range. Your total initial deposit for escrow account, $4,860. And we're going to talk about the daily interest charges. There's an advantage to closing towards the end of the month in the fact that you pay less in prepaid interest. So in this case, we're closing on the 28th of April. So there's going to be 2 days of prepaid interest. Now, when you close on a property, like let's say you close April 28th, your first payment will be due June 1st. Okay, so you don't have to close in April 28th and turn right around and pay in May. Okay, so you close on the 28th, your first payment would be due June 1st. Okay, but they're going to have daily interest charges for the month of April. That would be $136. The other thing you want to do is, or what you'll have to do is, the day one that you move into that property, you have to have a homeowner's insurance policy. You're going to have to pay a year of the homeowner's insurance up front, and it's going to depend on the type of coverage and your creditworthiness. Okay, so depending on that, and the type of coverage. So in this case, for hazard insurance, we just figured about $1,800 per year. And if you was in a flood zone, keep in mind, you'd have to have flood insurance. Okay, and so in this case, it wasn't in a flood zone or anything like that, so flood insurance wasn't required. But your total homeowner's insurance would be $1,800. The next block, we're going to add up all of those charges, the charges from A, B, C, D, E, and F, and we're going to total those up, and that's going to come out to $11,286. Now, you don't see this in this market, but it used to be where the buyer would ask the seller to pay some of their closing costs. Okay. In this case, we're not asking the seller to pay any of the buyer's closing costs, so that would be $0. And then you also see a line where it says earnest deposit. When you write that contract, one of the things that you're going to provide the seller is an earnest deposit check. And that just shows that you're serious about making an offer. Okay, it's negotiable. Okay, but typically what you'll see is about 1% of the price of the house. So in this case, we're buying a $350,000 house. You're going to see an earnest deposit, let's say around $3,000. That earnest deposit is held by the title company, and that gets credited to your closing costs. Okay. Now, the other thing that you're going to have in this case, example, you have a down payment. So in this case, you're coming in with 10% down payment, and that would be a down payment of $35,000. And then you see where it says items paid outside of closing. Remember that in home inspection, that was paid outside of closing, and that would be $650. So your estimated funds needed to close for this particular example would be $42,636. You also see on this block here where it says, I understand that this cost estimate statement is for informational purposes only and may not reflect actual costs. For the most accurate statement of cost, please refer to the loan estimate provided by your loan officer. This form right here is provided to you by your agent just to give you some kind of a ballpark idea in terms of your closing costs. Okay. And then you'll receive one for the initial offer and then one for the final accepted offer. And that's where you'll have to sign each one. So you may have two of these estimates. Okay, and as you can see, this will be a sales price of $350,000. Your down payment would be $35,000. So your total loan amount would be $315,000. And then where says the loan summary, the type of loan would be conventional financing. The rate would be your mortgage interest rate. In this case, it's 5%. And then the number of years of the mortgage. So in this case, it's 30 years. So what would be your total monthly payment? Your principal and interest would be $2,029. Your monthly taxes would be $490 per month, and your monthly hazard insurance would be $150 a month. And because you're coming in with a down payment of less than 20%, you're going to have to pay mortgage insurance. Mortgage insurance is going to vary based on your credit and your loan program. In this example, so you'd want to talk to your lender about this, your mortgage insurance would be $263 per month. So your grand total of your total monthly payment would be $2,932 per month. That's your estimated monthly mortgage payment. Okay, so as you can see, your lender is going to give you right before closing, you're going to get another one of these statements, and it's going to really pin down exactly what you need to bring to closing. Now, when you bring that check to closing, you're going to want to make it a cashier's check, and when you show up to closing, you're going to need a valid government ID at closing. And so you'll get another statement right before closing showing you the exact numbers. They'll really pin down exactly what your payment is. The key word is it's an estimate. Now, if you want to learn more about the buying process, hey, be sure to watch this video next. And hey, don't forget to show some love for the channel. Be sure to like, subscribe, and go ahead and ring that bell for notifications. Thanks, and make it a great day.